Welcome, foolish mortals, to another Monday live stream. I know I've missed a couple. Work has been nuts, but I had today off. So I was going to go on earlier, but Salacious was on, and now John's doing his Christmas thing. We've all been over there having a good time with the 3 Men and a Monkey Lizard. They're a blast. Um, so anybody who actually pops over here, more than welcome. We're going to do the same thing we always do. Basically, talk some. I got some pickups, and you know, thank you, Robert. I've seen you on. It's nice for you to come over and say, hey, Mark, what's up? Glad you're feeling better. Arcade, what's up, my man? Kat, how you doing? So we're just basically going to do what we used to do. I don't have a mystery box today, but I do have some stuff I found in a box that uh, I do remember purchasing, but I thought it was in a different box. So we'll go show a couple of those things. And what's up, Nate? How you doing, man? I'm glad you enjoyed Masters of the Universe. JCC, how you doing? You make a day of it. Cat, we didn't even get out of those glass cases before my phone ran out of almost power and space. It's up on Kipling and I-70, and we usually spend about 3 hours there, just going through the entire thing, up and down the roads. It's a lot of walking. Um, but they do have quite a lot of cool stuff, lots of cool antiques, lots of real antiques, not just toys, that I really enjoy looking at. There's all kinds of stuff. Yeah, work has been pulling me aside quite a lot. I'm hoping that within the next few weeks, I'll be able to get back to a normal Monday schedule. So, hey, from the Deaths, how you doing? Thanks for dropping by and saying hey. I'm doing well, man. I had today off. I slept in for a whole hour and then got some stuff done. Got a couple new videos shot. Um, Spent some time with Salacious and 3 Men and a Monkey Lizard over on John's. So it was a good time. Hey Tina, how you doing? I am all in for Old Republic. I downloaded the game again to make sure I had it all updated and everything. Um, so whenever you guys are ready, I am ready to be part. Um, so um, yeah, not too much else going on. I started watching Transformers Earthrise. I'm actually really enjoying it. I liked it much better than the whatever the first one was called. Um, I'm looking for toys. Whatever the first bit was called, with them on Cybertron. I didn't like that too much. The characterizations were weird. I didn't like how Prime was just a jerk and didn't listen to anybody. This time, it's a lot better. There are only 6 episodes, so I'll finish that off tonight and then get ready for Kingdom next week. So, oh, good. Maybe they take you off the night shift, Nate. I know nights suck. I've been having to go in at 2 a.m. recently, and so it's been a pain. That's why I've been slacking, because I've been, apart from working 70 hours a week, I've been going in at 2 a.m. and I'm just not ready to go do stuff after I get off. Okay, no worries. Just let Salacious know, and we will start setting up what we're going for. I am too, now that I've watched some of Earthrise. I wasn't really too buzzed at first, but now I'm really enjoying it. I liked how they're representing the Quintessons as still mostly insane, and I really like the characterization of Megatron in this, and that he was a a hero and he was a patriot for Cybertron at one time, and then he kind of just slid. And every step takes him further and further down that road to being the monster that we knew he normally was. Hey Dave, how you doing? Good to see you, man. Hey, I like that new thumb. That's cool. Weak. Well, that's nice. Um, that can be really nice. Have 4 on, 4 off type of thing. But yeah, from the depths, I'm looking forward to Kingdom. I I can't wait to see how they're going to move the Beast Wars stuff in, and I'm really looking forward to it. And I also like that this is a complete reimagination, basically, of the origin of Transformers. Um, Unlike the we can get into it a little bit about Masters of the Universe. The animation is great. I love the animation. I just don't like the characterization. I really don't believe Tila would act like that. That Prince Randor would just take Man at Arms and just strip him of everything, threaten to murder him if he ever comes back to the castle. Nobody seemed to really care that Prince Adam was dead. They just kind of blow over that. And what's up with the techno dudes? We just left that empty too. How in the hell did the nanobots get in there and start doing stuff? Um, I'm hoping the back 5 episodes of this explain what's going on and exactly who of Skeletor's men are not machines now, are not these Borg-like nanites. Um, that whole storyline was weird. I think the best character in the show was Evil Lynn, and I really liked the way they dealt with the Orko. I thought that was finally kind of given the I don't know if he was treated better. You know, he was always a joke on the other show, and I really did like all that. I just didn't like the characterization. Um, I'm looking forward to the second half just because I get bored and so I want to watch new TV. But if the second half doesn't do something for me, I'll probably walk away like I did with She-Ra, which was okay, but never really gripped me the way this has started. But yeah, definitely. It did feel rushed. It felt like this should be, in one way, you could have taken all 5 of these episodes and squished them down and made them actually shorter. But I would rather have them been longer and actually had like 8 episodes in this season and shown Tila mourning Adam and mourning He-Man, who she obviously has a crush on, or more in this show. She's been with them for years. I really didn't like the way she just walked away from Man at Arms, who she calls father. Um, and if you think she freaked out when she found out about Prince Adam and He-Man, wait till she finds out she's the sorceress's daughter. That's going to knock her back for quite a loop. But I did like Mark Hamill's portrayal. It did sound a little too much like the Joker, but I really still enjoyed it. Thought he did great. Thought all the other voices worked pretty well. Um, it was good to hear everybody again. Um, I wish they wouldn't have killed so many characters immediately and just removed them. But everybody can come back. It's a TV show, you know. You know. Yeah, Oppenheimer as Moss Man was great if he just hadn't been killed right away. I would have liked to have had him. He was so many characters on the show, and Conroy was great having it in, but I did like Triclops and his cult. Don't you think that deserved an entire episode of what the hell is this? I don't need a backstory of how it was created. I just need to know what. Um, you know, that's are they still people? I mean, kind of. I mean, are they just Borg? Are they robots now? Because Roboto seems Roboto. Of course, they changed his origin too, but they kind of have to because they don't own the rights to Filmation. They own the rights to the original comics and stuff. So yeah. And again, I loved the voices were all great. They were well cast. I just felt that it was too rushed, and the feelings were too deep too fast. Like the Tila's partner. I liked her character, I liked her character back when it was in the 2000X series, but I liked her character. But again, can I get a little bit of something? I don't need too much, just a flashback on how they met and that kind of thing. Um, you know, yeah, where did this techno juice come from? You know, hey, sleeping, how you doing? We're just touching on He-Man for a minute. I don't want to go into it because it seems to be a very touchy issue everywhere. I mean, I was called some horrible names um, on, a couple of things that I dared to uh, post a comment on. Um, but just because I didn't like the characterization, and that's the same thing I have issues with. I don't like the writing. I don't like the characterization. It's not the actors. It's never the actors. I could not care less. Um, but I think if you ask me my opinion on He-Man and Transformers and GI Joe and Trek and Star Wars, I'm going to tell you, and I'll tell you why I don't like something or why I do like it. Because it's important to me that you understand that I don't dislike the prequels because it's all, you know, woman central or whatever. No, I just don't like the characterizations. I think they did Han dirty. I know they did Finn dirty because there's EU books that talk about how wonderful he is and what a great warrior he is. And they took the main black character and turned him into a janitor. And I didn't like that. I thought it was horrible for him and his character. And then he made such progress in episode 7 and then reverted back in 8 and 9 and was just there basically. But it's never the actors. I think all those guys did a pretty good job with what they were given. And same with the JJ Star Trek. I don't like the plots. I don't like the story. It's not the actors. The actors are all fine. Like in Discovery, I like most all the actors. I just don't like the story. It doesn't seem to go anywhere properly. And it was it's the same thing. What the original, whatever that first wave of the Transformers was, the war on Cybertron. I didn't like the way Bumblebee was portrayed. I didn't like the way Optimus was portrayed. I didn't like the way Jetfire was portrayed. I didn't understand the architecture of Cybertron. But those were my problems. It's the writers. It's not the actors. You know, the actors, like Jake Lloyd and those guys, they only did what they could. Hey, sleeping. They did what they could with the prequels. See, I thought that too, but I don't know if they're going to bring Hordak in because then they'd have to acknowledge Chiron. I don't know if they will. Yeah, it took me a while to get used to her as Tila, because if I hear her voice, I only think of Daphne or Buffy, or of the seventh sister from Rebels. But just like when I heard Mark Hamill, all I heard was the Joker. He was really trying hard not to be the Joker, but you could still hear the Joker in it because that's his go-to evil voice. But exactly, Dave. It's not the actors, it's the writers. The same with, and Dave might have a different opinion on this. I feel that way about Ghostbusters 2016. I think the writers fundamentally misunderstood what Ghostbusters is. Ghostbusters is not a slapstick comedy. It's a sci-fi horror movie that happens to have comedic elements because of the actors who were involved. And instead, they turned it into this weird slapstick thing, to show off. Melissa McCarthy is such a great actress. She doesn't need to do oh, I'm the fat girl who falls down or whatever stick that they stuck her in. But I think that was the reasoning behind that, I thought. Yeah, Dave, exactly. It wasn't the girls that I thought those guys did a great job. I think Helmsworth was great. I wish he wouldn't have been used as a joke. I mean, that's kind of how his character was, just kind of this male model blonde guy. But I thought he was great in the movie too. Yeah, I don't know if they're going to ever get around to crossing over. Maybe the other show will, because I guess there's a second show, another He-Man show coming for everybody to hate on, I guess. But I'll still uh, I'll still watch the next 5 episodes because I do want to in fact see what happened, where the techno stuff came from, and I'd like to see how, obviously they're gonna have to save Prince Adam and that kind of thing. He did, and he showed that he wasn't just Thor. He could actually do other stuff, and it's got to be nice as an actor for him to actually show that he has another side that he can do. Unfortunately, then he followed it up with Vacation, which was just god awful. Yeah, I liked the universe building. I don't mind stories that don't have the main characters in it. Like, I like the Bad Batch. I'm not going to say I don't. And some of the better episodes of the Bad Batch don't even have them in it because it's world building on what we got from the Clone Wars. And that's the same thing with Star Wars. Rebels was almost completely outside of kind of a Jedi versus Empire thing, even though it did have those guys. But I would like to see more stuff like the Mandalorian, or things like that. Yeah, and I actually watched the extended version, and I do prefer the extended version to the other. Just because it actually does give more characterization moments, and it gave the girls something more, the ladies something more to do than just, I don't know. It was weird. Um, oh, really? Okay, I will set an alarm. I can't wait. I just want to see some of the guys in this trailer. I mean, I don't care that they're handing it off. This is what needs to happen. This is what's going to freak out people. Is they're like, oh, so these kids are going to be the new Ghostbusters or whatever? No, no, probably not. But it does need to move on to another generation if this series is going to move forward. If this just stops at these three movies, that's not world building. That's Back to the Future. And I would love, to move forward with Ghostbusters. And I would like to go back to the idea that there were Ghostbusters in New York and LA. And you had different stuff happening, and hopefully that will be what they do, is they open up the rift again and ghosts come back. Because I don't know, Dave will be able to tell you, but apparently ghosts don't exist in our world anymore and haven't for some time. Yeah, and I get, and I love Brandon and Bailey to death, but the constant complaining about world building and that this isn't going anywhere and it needs to go somewhere faster, that's not how TV series work. I do agree that some of it's very mission of the week, side questy, video gamey, but that's how Star Wars has been now for a while because that's the people who are writing it. You know, yes, I cannot wait for tomorrow. That's going to be great. I hope so. I don't know how limited it is. Now I know that Mattel, it supposedly loses all the rights to He-Man altogether in 2023. Universal gets them all back, but I don't know if this is just how, because Netflix kind of releases things because there might be like 20 episodes of this show and we don't know. They haven't said how many episodes they did, so we know they just happen to be releasing them 5 at a time. Where I think if they were releasing them one at a time, people might not have had the reaction to them. I think they need to go to a Bad Batch type thing where they're every week they drop an episode, just so you can get through it and you can think. Because then, I wasn't going to binge all 5, but I started watching him and I was like, well, no, I need to know where this techno stuff comes from. Then I moved on to the next episode, and that was I've never talked about again. And then you move on to episode 5, and they're like, okay, and now I'm the master of the universe. It's like, well, why? You're just He-Man as Skeletor now. It's not like you actually have the power of the Grayskull. It's not like you took over. It's not like some moistened bent lobbed a scimitar at you and turned you into king or anything, you know. Yeah, those will be cool. I just got Clamptrap from on a Funko figure today. I'm hoping those will be in Wave 3. I know Wave 2's already been shown, and I can't remember. I know there's a Beastman and a Tila, but I don't remember what the other 2 figures are in Wave 2 of the figures. So hopefully, that was another thing that was interesting, that Wave 1 of the figures come out, and it's Mossman, He-Man, and Skeletor, who all die in episode 1. So it's kind of, I can see where people kind of got upset that, it's not called He-Man and the Masters of the Universe anymore. It's just called Masters of the Universe. And world building and side questing is great. It's how series survive. That's why I'm all for things like recasting. I don't want to see Harrison Ford not be Indiana Jones anymore, but I would rather have an animated series or something like that, or someone younger to take it over the role and do 3 or 4 movies. There's no reason Indiana Jones can't be James Bond. But it's just people not accepting that Harrison Ford isn't going to be Indy anymore. Well, there have been 5 actors who have played Indiana Jones. Any real Indy fans will already tell you that you should be used to that. There already have been. But I saw those shippers at Walmart. I saw 2 of them today, 100% empty. And I asked the guy, I said, are these going to move into the aisle? And he says, we don't even have a spot for them in the aisle because we're assuming they're all going to sell just like these did. And so that'll be interesting to see what happens, because hell, my stores haven't even gotten the Snake Eyes stuff yet. They have tons of Space Jam. If you want some Space Jam stuff, hit up my Walmarts because they've got them all those dumb figures. But, and I did too. I wish they'd put them back together instead of the way they cut them up and cut the old Indy out of the show. I wish they put all the bumpers back in, give us the show back the way it was, and put it on Disney Plus, and do it before the new movie comes out. That would be great. But if you guys still want to talk about stuff, ask questions in the you know how this works. Ask questions. Till then, let me show you what I picked up this week. So, you guys need to hit up your Targets. Target has begun marking down the Super 7 figures, most of them, and Mego to 50% off. So I picked up a Red Ranger for $7.50. They never got all the other ones. My number only had Red Ranger and Green Ranger. So hopefully I'll be able to find some of those. I'm going to wander around tomorrow and try and find some. And then I got the Salt Vampire from Classic Trek. So, and he was $8 even, or maybe he was $7.52, something right around there. Oh well, shit. I'm gonna get my ass handed to me then. It was a good time. Congratulations, Dave. Man, I had a good run there for a minute. I am gonna study though, because I did not study for the last round, and I almost lost in my own categories. So I will be paying attention and I will be studying. So as soon as I find out what your categories are going to be, then I'll start studying as much as I can. So we'll see. Also went to I picked this up at the Brass Armadillo. which I dropped a video today. If you haven't seen it, it's about an hour long, and the place is huge. We see all kinds of stuff. This is actually a Diamond Select Comic-Con 2020 figure that never really came out. You had to order them online, and it's of the the red guy. So it's actually Tron in his NPC mode, but it comes and it looks like an old VCR case, but I can't see what the figure really looks like because it's sealed. So that one never be opened. But there is a new one for this year for the Rocketeer. So that's on Walmart. It's $40 at the moment, but I don't know if it's limited. That one was limited to 3,000. So, excuse me, hiccups all of a sudden. Next up, I was going through trying to complete some of my Scooby-Doo Playmobil stuff. And they added a whole bunch of stuff to their website, so I just picked up some stuff. I got Playmobil. I got the Scooby as a cop. Of course, he's holding a donut, because why wouldn't he be? And Scooby as a fireman, and he's holding some sort of turkey leg, I think, or possibly a pork chop. And then there's Scooby-Doo as a lifeguard. He doesn't have any food, but he does come with a hamburger. And then there's Vampire Scooby-Doo with some sort of drink. And then Scooby-Doo is the Rocketeer with a bone. So those were cool. I'm still missing one of them. They were out of stock on them when I tried to order them. I also picked up the Captain Cutter set. So, Ghost of Captain Cutter. Does he have a... Weird, it shows a little... I don't think that's in there. I don't know. And then the only other thing I got when I ordered it all was I got the Mummy set. So I need the graveyard set, the them eating dinner set, and the big castle. So I'll probably order those all in a couple weeks. Once I get a little bit more cash in, then I'll be caught up with Scooby-Doo, and I can then move on to James Bond and the A-Team, which Playmobil both have new stuff coming out for. So, and then in the old style of our mystery box Mondays, I found a box that had some cool stuff in it, and I thought I'd share it with you guys. So, as people are starting to put Halloween stuff out already, I have some Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown figures. These were made by Memory Lane. Back in the day, I think they were 2002, 2003. And so it comes with Charlie Brown, of course, with his costume and a bag of rocks, if you can see. You know, it's hilarious. No, and why isn't there? Because Playmobil makes an amusement park set, so they could just repackage it. Really, they could. Next up is Sally, and she comes with a pumpkin and the Welcome Great Pumpkin sign, so she can go sit with Linus. I mean, did they have some sort of meeting that, why do they hate this kid so much? Only recently while we were watching this did I say, wow, everybody in the neighborhood got together and got him rocks. And they wonder why he hasn't run amok at some point. And the last one I have a couple of these somewhere else, is Lucy with her mask. But there was also a pig pen and a Violet and a Linus. And then, of course, you got a couple play sets. I loved the Memory Lane and these were made by Praying Mantis. I never could say that right. And they made stuff for Mickey's Christmas Carol, for all the Rankin and Bass, like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and Frosty the Snowman, and those. they made all those figures, and they're incredibly expensive now. I'm glad I bought some of them when I had them, because I went back to look for a couple pieces I was missing, and they're like $80 a figure now. It's just nuts. But another thing I found in that box is some Roger Rabbit figures. These were made by LGN. They are bendable figures, so they're not real action figures. They never really made any action figures for Roger Rabbit, something that they really should do. There was really only ever Funko made some stuff for him, but there really hasn't been a lot of Roger Rabbit stuff, and I'm surprised. I think it's maybe because they have to share so much stuff with Warner Brothers with it that they just don't make stuff. So, you know. And then Eddie Valent, who was played by Bob Hopkins, of course. And then Roger himself. And then there was also a Baby Herman, and Jessica, and a Judge Doom. And I know I have all three of those somewhere in another box. But once I get them all together, I'm going to put a shorts video out and then put them up on the wall. The last thing I found in that box, which I had completely forgot that I even owned, which is going to make its way up onto the wall at some point, is the Griffin Dragon and King Elon from Dragonheart. This is the only one of the dragons I own from Dragonheart. I had the others, but I sold them. And I never did get the big dragon, the one that was voiced by Sean Connery. But he's pretty cool. The only thing is the figures were never real figures. Their arms move, and that's about it. So they're kind of stuck in a stance. I don't know why Kenner did this. They could have repackaged half of the Robin Hood Prince of Thieves stuff, and it would have they could have repackaged all that stuff again, and it still would have sold pretty well, I would have thought. But that's what I picked up this week. It's been it's been kind of a short week, just because like I said, I'm not getting out much, so I don't get to see things. I'm hoping to go out tomorrow and see a few things. It just depends on how work goes tomorrow. If I have to stay late, then I won't bother. If I stay late, I work from 6 to 6, and then I just can't be bothered, because then I got to go home and so. But apart from that, we already talked about some Transformers and a little bit of Motu. Looking forward to the Ghostbusters stuff. That's going to be great. Has anybody seen the G.I. Joe movie yet? I have not had time to see that, or Black Widow. I may end up just splitting the cost of somebody and buying it on Disney Plus so I can watch Black Widow. I do want to see both of them. I just haven't had time to get to the theater. I almost saw a movie this week. They had the 70th anniversary of the African Queen was out, and they're doing a 40th anniversary of the Great Muppet Caper shortly. So I think I will go see that at the theater. I haven't seen Great Muppet Caper in the theater in ages, so we'll definitely catch that up. But apart from that, not a lot going on here. I went hunting a little today. I'll put those videos up this week, but there's not a lot out there still. I found quite a lot of new Funko. Funko's putting out a whole bunch of new stuff, but as far as anything else here in Denver, it's just dead again. And even in my last toy hunt video, I showed how they were putting a new shelf in at Walmart, and it's taking out a whole bunch of the die-cast stuff, so they don't have to fill those pegs. I dropped a StreamYard thing in there. If anybody wants to join and just say hey or whatever, come on in. I'll add you in, and we can BS for a while. Thanks, Gilster. I know that got a little long. It's almost an hour long, and like I said, we didn't even get a fourth of the way through that place before I was running out of space. Um, so I'm going to have to go back and shoot. There's not a ton left in the rest of the building that you guys would probably be interested in. And the rest of it's real antiques, cameras, furniture, painting, stuff like that. There were a couple here and there, but they used to have some guys who had a lot of figures and Funko and stuff like that. And it looks like they've all moved out and been replaced with more traditional uh, antiques. So but thank you for watching. Um, and for information on the channel, we hit monetization this week. So I'll get all that set up. I don't know. I'll put it out there in a question on the channel, but I don't think we're probably going to do subscription stuff because I don't really feel I have anything to give you guys, unless it's just figures. And we might do like a every couple weeks or every month figure giveaway. I do have like magnets and keychains and stickers and stuff I could give you guys as a little prize pack for joining, but I don't know if a subscription thing would really. I don't want to feel like I'm taking money from people for no reason. If you want to if we're doing a live stream or something, you want to give a super chat or something, that's great, and I'm fine with that. Um, but in fact, I already have something set up. Um, for when somebody does give a super chat. Much like sleeping, we're stealing that. I'm stealing it. Mark stole it. Sleeping is Salacious has stolen it. It's a good idea, so I got a little something to show if people do that. So I don't know. We'll see what goes on with that. Um, Probably only going to keep this to about an hour today, so I don't take up a lot of you guys' time. Because, like I said, I don't have a lot going on, so there's not a lot to talk about. Um, you know, I think I'm going to turn that stuff on, and I'll turn the ads on just to make YouTube happy. But I will do that. But I don't think me and John and sleeping, and I mean me and John and um, Sean Solo and Salacious were all talking about doing what would a subscription even look like. I mean, I don't want people just to subscribe. It's nice to help the channel, and I'd like to get a new camera, and I'd like to get a couple for the computer, and that's nice and all. It would be nice to have a little fun to get figures for, but I don't I don't know. I don't know. I don't like that. I don't know why. Maybe it's just something I have to step over and just get used to. But because I mean, I've got merchandise and stuff like that. If anybody wants to buy a shirt or a cup or a hat, well, I don't have hats yet. I wish they did hats. Apparently, you have to sell so much stuff, and then they unlock other things. So there are other ways to support the channel, but I have a good job, and sure I work a lot, but I don't really feel like I need you guys' money. If you know what I mean. You know what I mean, Vern? You know what I mean? Anyway, so for those of you who are watching the Bad Batch, um, what everybody think of the last episode? I know that it got creamed all over everywhere, and I understand why. After the buildup of the previous 3 or 4 episodes, that episode was called Infested. It just kind of seemed like it stopped the show cold. Um, it was weird. It was almost like that episode was shown out of order, and it was supposed to be somewhere else. Um, like it should have been 2 episodes before. Like there should have been a small break between after they met Rex and did all that stuff and ended up with Crosshairs. Then there should have been this episode, and then the 2 episodes of Hera, then ended with Crosshairs, and then moved on whatever they're doing next. So, you know, oh, thanks, Tina. I don't know. It's weird. I know that, and I really want to. I appreciate all of you who do come in. I know we only ever have about 15 or so people on a live stream, and channel is kind of stalled at about 150, 160 views on stuff. But I do really appreciate everybody who still stops by, who watches, who puts comments on the videos. It really does mean a lot that people are actually still kind of there. So, and I understand that completely. I have a couple friends who have said that they did that just before the Hera thing started, and they're like, you know what? I'm just gonna wait, and I'm gonna watch it all at once. They watched the first couple episodes, and they're like, you know what? I think I'm gonna watch, because they thought it was a one season thing, and so now they're gonna watch the whole thing all at once, and then be shown, hey, season two's coming, just like they did. Um, with Loki, because everybody was sure Loki was a 6 episode series and that was it. Because that's how the Marvel stuff's been done. We've never been given a yes that things are going to be only one season. And then when Loki ended the way it did, we were like, what? And then halfway through the credits, it's like Loki will return in season 2. And it's like, oh, oh, nice. Good one. Good one, Disney. Got me again. And I've been kind of down about it recently, Left Coast, and it's I'm not going to say it hasn't bugged me. Um, it's weird. I don't know if it's just something I'm doing personally that's annoying people. It could just be the tone of my voice. I don't know. It's all yeah, exactly, Dave. It's all up and down. So I enjoy talking to you guys. I enjoy being on other people's live streams. It gives me an outlet to talk about what I enjoy, which is toys and movies. And now with Dino and Geek Strong, we're all working on our weight together and trying to do that. You know, yes, I'm all for. They could keep that show running forever. I loved Loki. It's definitely moved up to my favorite. It's definitely Loki, then WandaVision, and then Winter Soldier. I don't. I still think Winter Soldier might have almost went too long, but I wanted more WandaVision. I want more Loki, and we'll get more, Captain America, just because he's a main character of the movies. So we'll get more of that. I can't wait for What If. That's going to be great. I of course, can't wait for the Obi-Wan show. I'm even really looking forward to the Cassian Andor show, because I would like, now they're starting to fill in more and more time between episode 3 and Rebels. And at some point, at the moment, Cassian should be about 13, 14, something like that. Because his family was part of he was a separatist. So, and we know that the Mandalorian at this time, Din, is about 3-ish. So, you can get that little bit of overlap here and there. And of course, we've already seen Hera. We've already seen, what's his name from Rebels as well. And of course, the droids. Hey, Emily, how you doing? They were. If they hadn't, it stopped production on so much stuff. I really wish that it was perfect for Disney, because they just did. I haven't started watching Lucifer yet. Um, I need to, but I guess I'm like 5 seasons behind now, which is why I've never finished Supernatural and I never finished Agents of Shield. Um, just because I fell so far behind that I feel I can't catch up now, and without spending a huge amount of time watching the shows. Um, I'm good. If anybody wants some great, I don't know what the instrument is you play, Emily. Um, she plays a great, it's the ocarina, I guess, or whatever, from Zelda, and she plays it's like a pan flute type thing. Subscribe to her channel. Great, great stuff. I love it. It's what I tell people about Supernatural. You can watch the first 5 seasons and walk away. Um, and if you want more, you can get more later. But really, Supernatural should have stopped at season 5. Um, but that's the thing. Once a show has a little bit of clout, it goes on forever, especially if it's a CW show. I know Lucifer is on. Is that a Hulu or is that a Netflix show now? I don't know where it ended up. But plus, I mean, he has a built-in fan base. I mean, he's an incredibly looking guy. Really is. But it must be real tiring to have to be that pretty all the time. You know, I'm glad I don't have that issue. Oh no, I mean it. I randomly I just turn them on to listen to in the background while I'm at work. Hey, G-Force, how you doing? Are you back from traveling? It was great to see you and Shabby and Scuba and everybody together. That was pretty cool at Shabby Con. Okay, Netflix. I couldn't remember. I know I've seen it ads for it somewhere. Um, but and I'm glad that it has an outlet for people who really like the show. I'm glad Netflix is there. It's great that Hulu's there. It's great that all these, if you really like a show and it gets canceled, it used to just disappear forever. Look at Firefly. People love Firefly, and I like Firefly. I don't love Firefly the same way everybody else does. I still think it has, half the. It has some pretty good episodes, but then there are a couple fillers in there as well. So, hey Dave, how you doing? Good to see you, man. Blue, we are live. I really would like us all to be able to figure out somewhere, some con to go to together, and get sleeping and get Aaron, get everybody together, and if we can, get Ewok out of the frozen tundra up there and figure out where we can go and all just get together. I don't even know. I mean, we'd have fun at a con and all, but I think we'd have more fun just sitting around doing this basically. Oh man, that'd be nice. That would be nice. Yeah, and it didn't. And it's have I don't know if you're big fans of it or not. I just got the first like 5 issues of the new Firefly, and it takes place like 20 years after Serenity. And I had it recommended to me by one of the guys um, at the comic book store, and he said, I think you'll really still like this. And he updated a whole bunch of stuff, and it checks in on people. So I've got it, and we'll see. Hey, what's up? We would definitely. We would. I don't know how much we should be allowed to play with fire, but Shabby seems to have a pretty big yard, so I'm pretty sure we could survive and uh, not burn anything down. Let's say. Plus, he's got a pool, and I mean, he's got all kinds of stuff. We could all rent like RVs or something and go and have a big RV park. Ooh, yeah. I don't know. That is true. We could just hold our own con, and everybody could come. The only bad thing is Salacious and Mark wouldn't be able to come, but you know, we could do that. Yeah, there's 3 acres. There's plenty of room. We can all bring. You can sleep in a truck or something for a couple of days. I'd definitely bring an RV or a campground. You could sell tickets. That'd be awesome. We could put up like a hot dog stand. That'd be a lot of fun. Hey, Shabby, we're all coming over. But once all this stupid stuff finally falls apart, I think this fall, I think maybe we should try and figure out something. It'd be nice. So, well, fine, be that way, Mark. Don't leave the house. We'll come for you, Blue. You're my boy, Blue. I'll send a friend after you.
Go. Ah! Scary.
I'll send my pet raptor after you. We can make you a part. Once we get enough alcohol in everybody, all that stuff will be forgotten, forgiven. It's just a matter of drinking. Yes. Yep. I think of that all the time. And then there's the great line from Christmas Vacation, and it's when the little girl's talking to Clark, and she's like, "Oh no, I like living here, Uncle Clark. You don't have to go to the bathroom outside, and your house is always parked in the same place." I am too to a point, but you get me around enough Guinness, and I'll start drinking again. Um, I'm a relatively fun drunk. Um, you know. See, this is already coming together. We know what to get uh, shabby, or you show up at Aaron has like 6 or 7 acres, I think he said. Um, you know, there's one con a friend of mine. She wandered around in that thing for hours. And then we got to beat somebody up because they thought it was funny to trip her. You don't do that when she's with friends who are all my size, and 6'3" to 6'5". A couple of them were bikers, and so yeah, they didn't take it too well that they tripped her. That person was thoroughly beaten and then had to apologize. We'd been drinking though, so. And then what's funny is the next day he actually wandered around with us for half the day. He's actually turned out to be a pretty nice guy. He had been drinking as well and thought it would be funny to trip the Velociraptor. Yeah. And I think that's something that Sleeping's working on for Christmas as well, Dave, is trying to figure out. I always buy stuff for Toys for Tots for the Marine program. When I was a kid, we didn't have a lot of money. And so one of my first Christmases, I got a Tonka truck. And that Tonka truck came from the Marines. And I went and Santa gave it to me, and the guy was in full dress gear, and Santa told him to get a truck, and he got me a truck, and um, it's one of my best memories. I still have a picture of me in the Santa, um, and that went down through cousins and all kinds of stuff. So it did, and then it came back. So I'm trying to get it off again either tomorrow or Wednesday. They refunded my shipping, and they opened it and said that I didn't list enough stuff properly on it, which is funny because I listed each of the items individually on the customs tag. So I don't know why they decided to pick it. It must have looked weird when it went through the X-ray. So I'm trying to get it off again either tomorrow or Wednesday. But it is, yes, coming. I've been buying a lot recently of some clearance stuff, and that's generally what I do every Christmas. After Christmas, I'll buy several $100s worth of clearance stuff, and then I'll keep it. And then our work does. They used to do trees with the tags on them, But now they just do boxes because they have to make COVID and all that. You can't wrap everything and all that. They have to wipe it down. Stupid stuff. But so I've got a whole bunch of stuff I'm going to give this year. And last year I filled. We had 3 big boxes, and I filled them up. And the people doing it were so happy that the people were participating, and then everybody was participating because everybody felt so bad that kids were going to miss. In my area, they didn't miss Halloween so much because my neighborhood fought back, and there were like 8 of us on the street, and we went and got I took out a TV tray, a couple TV trays, took a chair out. I got gloves, wore my mask, and I went out to the end of my driveway and handed out candy so that they didn't have to come up to the house, ring the bell, and all that stuff. And we actually had quite a few trick or treaters, and more than actually usual, which is nice. But it's I think a lot of people, my work especially, bought a lot more than they would have normally, and gave it to the Marines program just because it was. We also did a cash thing for the Ronald McDonald House, and that did well. So yeah, and he started that. I know he started it with a Doc Brown figure from Back to the Future 2, I think. And so I don't know who has it at the moment, but it's supposedly making its round, and we're supposed to have a list of who to send it to next. Um, and I think that'll do well. I know he's still looking at doing that for Christmas, and then raffling it off. Um, I don't know who would want all our autographs on something, but I still think it'd be cool. So no, I may bid on it. Depends how quickly we get outbid. But yeah, so I think that would be a good idea, Left Coast. It's yeah, but our president won't let us come see you. That really pissed me off this week when they were like, oh, and Trudeau, I don't like him at all, but at least he was like on August 1st, we're opening back up, everybody's welcome. We should have done the same thing. We should have reciprocated to both Mexico and Canada. I've been like, okay, let's get this going, and especially like the EU as well. We just should have said on August 1st, this stuff's done. Let's go. Let's try and get everybody back on. And, poor Brandon, he was looking forward to being able to actually go on a toy hunt, because he lives across this river from Canada, but he can't get there. And then he has to drive 2 hours the opposite direction to get to a flipping Target. And so now you have to wait till the end of the month before we'll be able to go to Canada. And, it's nuts. Yeah, and I think he had talked about doing 2 or 3 different things, and kind of either all of us sign all of them, or we'd have like some of us would sign the wrestling thing, the big wrestling downfall, TEW stuff like that. Excuse me, Nathan Bowden could sign all that. Yeah, and I know people who live in Oregon and stuff who have family in Canada, and they would really love to see them again. It's been a while, you know. Well, it's except the State Department said we're not letting anybody go to Canada until the end of August, and they had decided that it was going to be the end of July, and then they changed their minds again for another month. Hopefully, once you get your second jab, it'll be great. Um, if you get vaccines, fine. If you don't get them, fine. Personally, I think what's the hurt? I mean, sure, we don't really have extended testing on all this stuff yet, but I take a lot of junk that I don't think there's a lot of testing on. So I didn't see the big deal in it. My work had it. It was free. It allows me to move if I need to. If you ask me, no, I'm not going to show you my card because HIPAA rules and you don't need to see my card. They start putting in where pushback will be is if they start doing these passporty things, like making a mark on your passport, then people will have a fit. I don't know why, mark of the beast or who knows. Some news thing, Fox or CNN will make some flipping thing out about it. Anyway, I hate politics, so we're not going to talk about that. I don't. I don't know what I got. I know I got two. So whatever it was, we got two. Because I guess our HR department didn't want the one. I think at the time they were even pulling the J&J stuff because of some issues, and so we got. I think we got Pfizer. I don't know, but who knows? 5, 10 years down the line, there could be shown that there was something wrong with them. Don't care. I'm not going to be here in 10 years. I really don't plan on being around for that much longer. So, you know, uh, we'll see. But again, it would be nice for everybody to see their family. I have friends in England who want to come over here for Christmas. It would be really nice to go. And, you know, pretty much. That's pretty much what it's going to come down to. And I, I don't know. Businesses have to, it doesn't have anything to do with safety. It has nothing to do with the virus. It has nothing to do with vaccines. I think businesses are going to have to make decisions to keep themselves out of liability issues for things. If they have the San Diego Comic Con and they don't um, try and enforce that somehow, having 120,000 people together in San Diego would, in fact, be a giant opportunity for a super spreader event. But I'm not really sure how much of that's going around anymore now that they've decided that I guess the CDC, we probably shouldn't be talking about this, but I guess the CDC just came out and said that one of the most popular tests for that which must not be named can't differentiate between that and the normal flu. So they're not actually sure how many people actually contracted it now because they can't prove if you used this certain test that you had it or if you had just the normal flu. So who knows? Yeah, and you're fine. Arkansas is perfect for you guys. That's where we move our window and door liquors. What's up, Catman? It's good to see you, man. God, I hope not. I Yeah, I guarantee Disney will do that. Well, maybe they're not doing it at the park. So I think the concentration of people is what you're looking at. But man, I'm good. I miss you so much, man. If you're ever in town, you've got to look me up. I miss trivia nights. I miss just hanging out and drinking with you at the bar. I haven't seen since you left. I haven't seen any of the others. And of course, that which must not be named came, and so we stopped getting together at all. But I haven't seen Janice in almost 2 years. I haven't seen anybody else. So I miss you, man. It'd be good to see you again. Um, but we're gonna be out in Florida in December. Um, but anyway, side note, just between me and the cat man. But yeah, so I don't know. We'll see. I'm just hoping that we can get back. I think the here in Colorado, we have the Colorado Springs Comic Con, and they have not said anything about vaccinations or masks yet. It's next month, and it's moved to a fairly large place now because it's just doing too much. Um, and then in October, our Denver Comic Con got bought out by Fan Expo, and they're having something here in town in October. I think over Halloween weekend. I'm not really sure. So that'll be interesting. Now the next big con I think is New York Comic Con, and they're still having it. So I'm hoping that they figure out what they're going to do. Because it's I didn't realize how important cons were to everybody and how much they were important to me to see friends again who we don't see all year long. You know, cool. Yeah, if you do, man, um, we'll meet up. We'll do something. Just let me know when you're coming out, and I will make sure I have time off. My brother is coming out at the end of next month, so I'll be able to. I'm going to go out to dinner with them. They're coming for, let's say, ancillary reasons for Colorado, and we'll leave it at that. Um, but so no, I'm hoping that most of the cons get back in line. I'm really hoping next year we have a San Diego Comic Con again, just for everybody to go. But it's been so weird not to see the trailers and not to see Hall H and not to see everybody on the floor, and it's I miss that. I miss being with humans. They are annoying sometimes, but there are, like you guys. I love hanging out and talking with you guys. I really love it if when there's a couple people on, to give a little better feedback. Um, but that's why I've enjoyed doing this. Um, it's one of those things where I know I can be boring and I can ramble on, and I do that. It's just just how I am. I'm sorry. Um, but I really do enjoy talking to you guys. I really enjoy listening to you guys. I really enjoy listening to um, Sleeping and everybody, and um, and Salacious and Three Men and Shabby and the guys and Mark and John and all the Pegwarmers. And I miss when we started doing those Sunday night things. I kind of miss them. I wish we'd get back to them. We'll have to see if we're going to do one this week. Um, but that was kind of fun, just sitting back and bullshitting about uh, a movie, um, for no reason. And there are a lot here, and there are a lot in our community. I know we have issues with each other from time to time, but we all do that. It's just how nature is. I don't think we'll still be here, but you make sure you wash his hair real good, because you get the infestation of cockles and stuff in there. That's what I like about you too, Mark. I mean, we can just sit back and BS, and um, and it's we just sit here for hours and talk. Um, I know me and Apprentice do it sometimes, but I bore him quickly. But you and me and Paul and John and G Force, we're all kind of around the same age, so you know it's we understand each other's and our worldviews. Dude, come out. It's a beautiful place. It's beautiful during the summer. It is hot here. It can be. But if you enjoy just driving up into the mountains, into the Rocky Mountain Forest, and getting out every so often, going to Breckenridge and walking around, or going to Red Rocks. We have a great place called Cave of the Winds down in Colorado Springs. That is a lot of fun. Um, I wish I could tell you to go to Casa Bonita, but at the moment it's closed. Horrible food, great place to go to. Um, I am not. I don't do well at those things because I don't really, you know, uh, I don't follow football enough to actually be able to pick good players. I will enjoy listening to you guys talk about it, but oh no! To hear that he said he's going to dye his hair blonde for the next Aquaman movie, that just seems weird. I think he had blonde hair when he was initially in Baywatch Nights, but I'd have to go back and see. I know it was super short, um, but I mean, he needs to leave his hair the way it is. He will upset many women If he cuts, he remember what happened when he cut his hair? I did say cockles. Oh, come on. I saw you glaze over. It's just because I wander when I talk. And with following the chat, I change. I have a. Um, we're doing like 3 or 4 conversations simultaneously, um, which, Blue, you are more than welcome to come on anytime. If you want to come on and say, hey, you know, you're more than welcome. Thank you, Mark. That means a lot. I'm just me. I don't put on airs. That might be why my channel doesn't do as well as I would like it to. But I'm not going to pretend to be something I'm not. I'm just a collector, and I like sharks to a point. I don't watch Shark Week. Shark Week scares me mostly because I was very young when I watched Jaws. And so I think Jaws has had a very lasting effect on me. I know there's no way in hell I'm ever going to be attacked by a shark. Want to know why? Because I live in Colorado, and they can't get here. They don't have feet. So I'm good. Oh yeah, yeah. There's all kinds of stuff to do here. I mean, and there's going up to Pikes Peak. You can ride the rail up to the top of Pikes Peak. That's great. I know people who ride it up and then walk down. There's a 9-mile path that goes down the side of the mountain, and I know some military guys and hikers and stuff. I wouldn't be doing it. I probably could do down just fine. Up, I would have a problem with these days. It is a dry heat. It's a very dry heat, and we're very close to the sun. So, bring lots of stuff. See you later, Dave. Thanks for dropping by, man. Hey, Fabulous, what's up? Brandon, how you doing? Good to see you. Thanks for dropping by, man. My answer will always be Wile E. Coyote, super genius, and Daffy Duck. Yep, see? You're smart. Yeah, if anybody wants in on Blue is starting up a fantasy league for NFL. Give him a holler on Instagram or Twitter, and he'll give you all the information and get you on board. See, now I would like to have a conversation with you, Apprentice, and if you, I can add a link if you want to come on and talk. I would love to hear what you think about Star Trek. I know you've started watching the movies, and last time I knew you were up to part 3. I would like to know what you think of the movies based on that you hadn't seen any of the television series. Um, you know, yeah, Vern, that movie messed me up. There were 2 horror movies I saw as a kid that really affected me deeply. One, I wasn't supposed to watch at all, which was Night of the Living Dead. And it showed up on a PBS station one night, and I didn't know what it was. And I was young. I was probably like 6 or 7. And that movie messed me up. Yeah. But Jaws was more of a, you knew it was coming, and those people couldn't do anything about it. And yeah, I like Jaws and Jaws 2. I never watched the others. We do need to talk Trek one day. What up, Tasman? How you doing, brother? Good to see you. Sharknado. I cannot believe those went. I couldn't believe when those got made in the first place, let alone that there ended up being like 5 of them. Exactly. You will enjoy that, Ewok. You really will. It closes out that whole 3-story arc. It gives a good ending, and I think you'll really like it. It's got some good humor in it, and and I think you'll like it. Star Trek 5, maybe not so much. I've rewatched Star Trek 5 recently, and actually it was much better than I remember it being. It has its problems, but I think those were mostly production problems. So he'll get there. Yeah, and sadly, I was asleep yesterday. I went in at 2 a.m. again yesterday and didn't get off until almost 4. And by the time I got home, I was so sleepy, I fell asleep in my chair, which then I missed. I think I missed John's. I missed three. No, what did I miss? I missed sleeping Saturday because I fell asleep. I don't know. I'm trying not to do that in my chair anymore. It's not. It's not that horrible that you need to skip it. It's just not a super great movie. I do love Undiscovered Country though. That 2, 2, 4, 6, 8 are probably my favorites as always. So cool. Oh, cool. Once you can get your head around, if you're watching the remastered ones, you might like it better because they fixed some of the issues with special effects and stuff. Oh yeah, dude, and that, yeah, and being Tim Curry was enough, but being Tim Curry as a clown, oh my goodness, yeah, that messed me up too. And that and Killer Clowns from Outer Space, which was funny, but the makeup and stuff was so good on him. I have a friend who absolutely hates clowns, and we tricked him into going into around a hallway that was almost a dead end where we had gotten two guys who were dressed up as the Killer Clowns from Outer Space to stand. Oh my god, I thought he was going to pee. It was awesome. All right, see Emily. Yes, the Joker is a completely different reason to be scared of clowns. Yeah, I love Wrath of Khan. That is probably my favorite of all. And then probably, I don't know, probably Undiscovered Country. Um, I love Voyage Home so much, but exactly. I randomly say that and nobody ever gets it because they don't, it's Star Trek. So, nobody really gets it. Plus, nobody remembers Star Trek 5 at all. The best line of that movie is, excuse me, what does God need with a starship? Well, you kind of get one next week when the Steelbook of Transformers '86 comes out. It's completely redone and everything. But I guess that new Bumblebee movie is due out next summer. I don't know, something like that. Um, I am looking forward to that. Um, the Beast Wars or whatever it's called. Yeah, and he got a lot of pushback. Um, I guess that was kind of a small falling out him and Nimoy had because he kind of was asking Nimoy for some help, and I guess Nimoy didn't really want to help. Sort of, he kind of felt like Shatner needed to figure it out on his own. Um, but it was one of those things that there was some pre-production issues, and then they cut the budget by a third before they even started shooting. So there were some other scenes that were supposed to be in there that were completely cut. And I guess ILM basically did it on a shoestring budget. So, you know, Tim Curry is awesome. I would be so sad when he passes. Yeah, yeah. I do like it. There's quite a lot. I listen to the Wrath of Khan soundtrack almost every other day because I'll randomly turn it on YouTube. There's a YouTube channel that has the expanded edition, which is even better. That's right. I spit my last breath at thee. He tasks me. He tasks me, and I will have him. So many great lines in that movie. You know, I listen to him all the time. It did. I don't. I didn't know Bumblebee had I'm gonna have to go back and watch Bumblebee. I really wish they would have done that Sulu movies, TV movies that they talked about forever. That would have been cool. Now, of course, he's too old. Hey, what up, Josh? How you doing, man? The Last Duel does look good. I am looking forward to that. That's going to be pretty decent. Um, yeah, Sulu was. I love that. Him and the Excelsior. When Part 6 came out, I was like, this is how we need to move forward. We can move forward and create a whole new series just in this timeline, because this is another spot we hadn't seen because it was in between, Next Generation and Classic Trek. I would have loved like 3 or 4 seasons of the Sulu show. Excelsior. They just could have called it Excelsior, Star Trek Excelsior, and it would have been great. What is up, America's Most Wanted? It is good, man. It is good. We've been talking quite a lot of stuff. It's nice of you to drop by, man. Yes. We never got one because Paramount killed it. Apparently, there were a couple scripts for it made, um, and they just decided to go a completely different direction. And then, they at the time they didn't think that Star Trek series could, could you couldn't have more than one running simultaneously. And then they changed their minds because they thought nobody would watch a classic show while the Next Generation was going. And then, heck, by the time DS9 and Voyager came around, you had Next Generation, DS9, and Voyager all running simultaneously. Then you had the Next Generation doing movies. So I think now they would have. Just like now there's Discovery and there's Lower Decks and there's the Picard and there's Strange New Worlds starting up. And there's that new Janeway Voyager-ish show. So we're going to have 5 Star Trek series is running simultaneously. So, it'll be interesting to see. Of course, they're not going to be on real TV. I think actually one of them is the whatever the newest show is. It's going to be on Nickelodeon. And it's a Nickelodeon show. I would have loved it because then, of course, they once they brought Voyager on, then they fixed it so that Tuvok was actually there. So that would have messed Voyager up because that Tuvok, Tim Russ would have never been on Voyager because he would have already been on a show for 4 years. But I would have watched it. It would have been great. I would love to see. It's kind of how I feel about The Bad Batch. It's how I feel that they should fill in this time gap. I don't like prequels. Don't get me wrong. I would rather Star Trek move forward. I want a show that's set after Voyager, like 5 years after Voyager. I don't necessarily want a show that's set in between Star Trek 6 and The Next Generation, but I would watch one if they put it out. I would like to know what the Federation was doing at that time. Everything seems to be very peaceful. We have the Klingon War that would start. That would be the first couple seasons of that Sulu show. The Kittima Accords were being signed and stuff, but there were still skirmishes and with the Romulans and stuff after that that we know about. But it would be interesting to see that little transition, kind of like we're seeing the transition between the Republic and the Empire in the Bad Batch. And that's always been a spot that I'd like to see more time spent on, is how the Empire actually came. And when the Empire was set, it was clearly set up as Nazi Germany. You had stormtroopers, you had, they mass killings, all that stuff. Now the Empire seems to be more like Imperial Britain, or even maybe Rome, but I think more Britain. It's not that they're killing everybody or putting people in camps or stuff like that. They're just taxing you to death. They're giving you regulation. They're regulating you to death. They're regulating you out of your job. They're forcing you to get social security cards, driver's license, passports, stuff like that. And it's interesting. I'd like to see that continue. I love Sulu. He was always great. Oh my. When he's on Third Rock from the Sun, he was great in that. And when he's on when George Takei's in generally anything, he's pretty funny. He was on Psych as George Takei, and he was on um, Big Bang Theory. See, I think that too, Josh. I think a 5 year, because everybody would still be recovering from the Dominion War. The problem is everybody we know now is too old. So you'd have to set it almost 10 years or so after and just say, well, it's been hard. That's why everybody looks so horrible. Um, yeah, pretty much. I mean, yes, they are. And it's the regulations that get people most mad. Um, I mean, I don't, the stuff with the Bad Batch that I don't understand is, why is everybody so mad at the Empire? They haven't really done anything yet. Of course, we don't know how much time has elapsed since the end of episode 3. But really, they've just come in and they're just like, okay, the war is over, and these separatist places we have to take over, much like the Union took over the South before they basically kicked everybody out, or how the Americans and the British and the French took over Germany and the Russians took over the other half, how we took over Japan and rewrote everything. And that's basically what's happening now. And you have people like Saul Guerrera that's like, hell no, I'm not getting a passport. What? Why are you so mad, Saul? The war is over. Nothing's even happened yet. Now, once they start coming in and murdering those guys in that one episode of Crosshairs, okay, that's something different. But, and recently we saw that they're starting to get, people who are fighting back, and they're starting to be more like the Empire we know. But really, they're just regulating you to death. They're taxing you to death, and it's hard for you to do your job. And I like that. I don't like the taxation and stuff. I just think it's interesting to see how the bureaucracy evolves, because we know the Senate has not been dissolved yet. The Senate doesn't dissolve for another 18 years. So the 18 years between episode 3 and episode 4, there's still a Senate. They're still talking. They're still having meetings. They're still in charge of their local planets, all that kind of stuff. Even as MOFs are put in place and governors are put in place, and the governors seem to be another level of bureaucracy that's put in place by the Empire over the local people. And so that's, when they say, how will the Empire maintain the bureaucracy without the Senate? And Vader says local governors now have control over their own stuff. So then, you gave more local stuff. I think Clone Wars Season 2, I think you're going to see that either the chips are going to either wear out because they've been constantly on for too long. And you kind of saw that with this new guy, who I can't remember his name, who questioned whether or not he should be doing this. Now, Crosshairs doesn't question because he had his turned up to 11. Everybody else, they did order 66 and they're okay with it. And there has to be something in the chip that allows them to do that. Because as these clones start breaking their programming, one of them will say, my God, I killed my Jedi. I killed my general. Why did I do that? And so you'll start getting this underground movement, I think. And that's what's so important with the information that Tech was working on, to try and figure out if he could disable the chips without having to remove them from people's heads. And once he can do that, I think you're going to have some kind of thing where the clones turn on the Empire, or the Empire decides they're a liability and they decide to wipe them out. Actually, yes, I think so too. I think you're going to have there'll be certain clones that are left alive, um, but I think you're going to end up with a whole mess of them. I think this will end up. I don't know if it'll end in season 1 or if it'll be a season 2 arc where they go back to um, not Geonosis. Is it Geonosis? I don't remember. And all those, because we saw all those Camino. Thank you. I don't know why I can't. I always get those. And that's what we've already seen in the comic book. Camino has already been destroyed at some point, and they moved all of Palpatine's experiment stuff to Exodus. And that's in I think that's in the Vader comic. Because Vader's been there. He knows the cloning stuff that's going on there. So they're going to have to figure out why he didn't understand that there were Emperor clones when he kills him in Return of the Jedi. But that's their problem to work out. But I think as far as there's going to be some sort of battle of Camino, and they're going to wipe out what's the new clones, the infants, the children, the teenagers, all of them that are being trained right there, and they're going to level that whole thing and go from there and dump, and then the clones will fight back if they can. I didn't know he had a facility on Jakku. I'm so far behind in the EU. I don't like that I have to do homework for Star Wars, but I'm so far behind in all those comics, and I don't, you know, that was that a thing out of Battlefront. If so, then I would say that when all those ships crashed on Jakku after the Battle of Jakku, that that's probably what happened to it. Is it was destroyed during that. I don't know. I like thinking about that. I love talking about it. It's like someday, Josh, I gotta get you on, and we would just talk forever. Um, we would bore the hell out of so many people. Um, okay, see, I've got to catch up on the novels. I keep telling Brandon that I'm going to start the High Republic. I can't start the High Republic. I'm like 8 books behind in the current stuff that actually matters. I can't start reading stuff that doesn't matter yet. Um, and so I gotta do that. I'll try and text you, Josh, and we'll figure out something. If not, maybe we can figure out to get you on the Pegwarmers or something as well. Um, I would love to chat with you. Um, but oh, I was just noticing the time. So why don't I let y'all guys all go? Um, I gotta go grab some supper, um, and try and get a little bit of some laundry done. I've got a couple other things I've got to get done tonight before I go back to work for 2 weeks straight. Um, yeah, but they can't expect us to have read all those novels before the Acolyte starts. They're going to have to do some sort of previously on the High Republic. Um, or I'll just have you explain it all to me. I have bought a couple of them now on audio, and I need to listen. I'm gonna probably start Claudia Gray's stuff this coming Saturday when I'm at work, um, and then I'll try and get that done. Um, that would be great. That if they would do some of these books, I would watch it. Cool. All right, I will definitely set it up with you. Hey, Mike, what's up? See, and that's I wondered that too. I wondered if there's a, a something in there that turns them off. Once the Imperial forces have gotten to a point where they don't necessarily need the clones, or if the clones start becoming too much of a hassle. Um, that seems to be, the point of the Bad Batch was the Empire couldn't care less about them until they blew up that mining facility and did all that recently. Now that governor guy told Crosshairs, go kill him. They're in my way. Now they're causing a problem. Kill them. So, yeah, I think you're right. If that would be a good way to end it, is they're in some huge battle. It actually looks like they may win, and then execute Order 69 or 70, maybe 73, and everybody just and all around the Bad Batch, their brothers die. That may be too heavy for a kids show, but look at the end of season 7. So, all right, brother. Good to see you, man. Thanks for stopping by. Light of the Jedi, Into the Dark, and the Rising Storm. Okay. Then I think I've started with Light of the Jedi. That's the Claudia Gray one, right? Because I don't buy real books anymore. Because I try and do stuff while I'm at work, and I can turn on my phone and just let that run when I'm at my desk with the phone. I can't have my phone a lot of the time, and they have blocked Audible now, so I can't even do that. Oh, all right. Well, then I'll try and catch that. Into the Dark is so Into the Dark is the second one? Oh, well, then I've got to start with the Light of the Jedi. Okay. Jeez. All right. See you later, Blue. Okay. Also, I'm out of here. Thank you guys so much again. Thank you everybody who hangs around every Monday and talks. It's a great time. Sounds like maybe next week we will have Josh with us. That would be awesome. He has so much knowledge. It would be great to get maybe him and Ewok in, but I know Ewok will have football by then. So until then, catch you guys on the flip side.